Hi guys, Brett here from Hearns, and today we're going to continue our build on the MudMad. So you might have watched the previous video where we got a lot of the major chassis done, a lot of the major componentry, and we're going to go forward now. We've got the front on here and the steering and some of the drivetrain in. Now we're going to keep continuing with the build, finish off the rear suspension, the rear diff assembly, and see what we can do. Hopefully today we can get the wheels on and get it rolling. So let's continue on. Okay, so I've got the suspension here, got my trusty 9 steps toolkit out. Again, everything all very familiar. The front and the rear of this build are almost identical, so the fact that you've done one end should make doing the other end, in this case the rear end, a little bit more easier and straightforward, as it's all a little bit more familiar now. So we're going to go ahead and screw those in, get the diff together, get some bushes on the diff outdrives, cut them off the sprue. Got our nippers here, making light work of that. Notice that sprue done, can get that out of the way. Just put a drop of the Tamiya grease on the diff outdrives here, so it's got a bit of lubrication, like so. And then I'll go ahead and indeed slip this in to the gearbox housing. Ensure it's got nice, smooth, free operation. Nothing's binding or crunching. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'll actually put the gear case on next. So that's on the parts tree here. Again, cutting it off the sprue, making light work. This one actually looks like it's got provisions on here for a wheelie bar. That's pretty cool. Tidy these up a bit, like so. So we've got our 2 screws like that, perfectly mated up. Oops. To put our suspension units in first, make sure that it's facing the right way, like so. There we go. Beautiful. Now we can go ahead and slip our screws in, our BA2s. Get a couple of these in the gear case. It's asking to put the top screws in only. That'll be enough to secure it all together. Now when I'm doing up screws, I like to just do them up obviously one at a time, and do them up just so they're taking up the slack, or just so they're seating, before I go back to the other screw that I was working on and applying some torque, getting it tightened up. Now everything being nearly every thread on here being self-tapper, it's going to help in it not rattle apart. A nice big meaty thread that aids in the assembly, and also holding it together with little to no chance of rattling apart with the metal into plastic thread, like so. There we go. It's starting to look like a little car, and I can't believe actually the size of it, how tiny it is. Okay, so we've got that part on now, and it's asking for a bumper bar. Looking on my tree here, it is indeed the B6 part. Yep, that is the one right here. We'll cut that off. Yeah, that's come up really nice. Then it's asking for 2 long screws and 1 shorter screw. Like so. It's asking for the machine thread screws actually in this one. Open this bag up here. Here we go. Nice long meaty screw on the bumper bar. And this short little one into the gear case. Make sure I have indeed put the right screw in there. Like so. Got the suspension arms to fit in now. Cut these off of the sprue. C12 and C13. Have to note the direction. Just have to loosen this one off a bit more. Get these loosened right off. There we go. Dots facing down. Like so. Can go ahead and do that bumper bar up. It has beautiful little suspension arms in that they feel nice and flexible without being too flimsy. Get these screws done up one at a time. Nice and secure. Everything's moving really nicely there. So then I can go ahead and snap in the suspension hub. Should make a snapping sound. Well, it's very quiet, but it did make a snapping sound. Clicks into place. Then we're going to go ahead and put our retainers on, our C2 clips. And click these ones into place like so. There we go. And that is the steering and the front suspension done right here. So that's in fact how it steers, by throwing it off balance, and then you've got the suspension, independent front suspension there off the axle. Great little setup. Looks super reliable. Oh, now it looks like we're putting together the wheelie bar and the rear arms. Okay, so I need the rear arms here, which is again the C parts tree, C12 and C13, front and rear being identical componentry again. C12 and C13, that's all I need off there for the minute. Needing more C2 clips to hold those in, and we need to assemble the wheelie bar, B9, B10, right here, it's B9 and 10, get that off of the sprue. And then where's our wheelie bar wheel? This one here. Beautiful. Okay, so we've got 2 screws that holds all this together. There's our little wheelie bar. Very simplistic. Before I do that up, I can go over it with the nippers and get any flashing off of the molded parts. Perfect. Then we can go ahead and screw that up. So I've got the 3x8s. Where's my packet gone? Sorry about all the rustling, guys. They're really good at how they number and label all the parts. Okay, got our BA2 screws. Going in beautifully. Just have to reattach this one. This one started here. Beautiful. So we've got then our B2 part. Where are you? Right here. It's our suspension support. Going to start putting that together on the rear end, making sure the arms are located right. Like so. Put our suspension support on. hold our arms in there beautifully. Then we've got our wheelie bar which holds it all in place. Like so. Beautiful. Okay, got our BA2 screws. There's a warning in this part saying do not over tighten. Probably deform the wheelie bar, I imagine. So we'll do them all up. Got 4 screws that hold this on. We'll just get them seated, work our way around. Got our big screws here. These are really chunky, these screws. They're not going to give any grief. 3 by 25 mil to hold that rear chassis plate together. Get them seated. Go ahead, pull up the outer ones. There we go. Get them all done nice and evenly. Everything's nice and free and smooth. We'll go ahead and pop these arms on. Like so. Get our little retainer clip. Clip that into place. There we go. Put the drive shaft in first, locate it in the diff out drive, like so, click it in, there we go. And that is the suspension of our MudMad. You can see there that it's got 4-wheel steering capabilities. Okay, let's see what the next chapter is. Got the wheelie bar on, working down now towards the steering linkage. Okay, so we'll put this aside for the moment, and then we've got to go to our B parts tree, B12, B11, B12, B11, B14 and B15. Let's go over, get the flashing off. Then we've got some C5 bushes on our C parts tree. They'll be these ones here. There's 4 of these. 2 on this parts tree, 2 on this one. What other parts do we need? BB9. So we'll have some collets. It's one of those. Okay, so we can go ahead and assemble our steering linkage. So we'll start with it in this direction. These ones are facing upwards. And then we've got our collar and a screw. Our BA2 screws. Go ahead and dummy fit this up. A screw, not a bush. Like so. That's the top part down, and the bottom part goes like so. Two more bushes, two more screws. Sometimes it's easy to work on a flat surface. Definitely on the pit mat, it saves the screws and hardware bouncing off your hard top table or workspace. Go around and tighten all four up nice and evenly. Smooth and slop-free operation. Okay, then I've got a couple of countersunk screws, these ones here, and these ball ends. Comes through here like so. This will be where the steering ball cups attach, I imagine. Having never seen one of these built before, it's all very new. Get my little nut driver on here. 5.5mm. No need to glue anything up crazy tight. Perfect, starting to look like a steering mechanism. And then we've got a bush and a BB3, which is a 12mm screw, and that goes in the top support. Oops. I've got a feeling that that screw is too short. Put it over my instruction book. It is indeed too short. Go ahead and put the right screw in there this time. Okay, and there is our steering assembly. So let's have a look how it bolts into the chassis. Okay, so this one locates in here. Comes over the front, and it's revealed that I have in fact put a part on backwards. Okay, here we have a steering assembly coming together and screwing up. Like so. Put our steering arm on. B1. This one here, cut off the sprue. Got a BA9 on here. The brass touches that they use actually look amazing. There we go. So it's going to actuate the steering. And I'll go ahead and put the screw in. The BB2. BB2 is this one, 3x15. This one here. Go. Brilliant engineering by Tamiya there. Have to put a bushing in the steering rack here. B13. It's a plastic one. This one right here. Off the parts tray. Another 15mm screw. And that is the most unique steering rack I've ever had the pleasure of assembling. Not overly complicated, but it's brilliant in its design. The servo arm here, you can see how it moves the whole front suspension of the car. What a brilliant idea. Like so. Just have to put a spacer in here. Make sure that we get the right geometry on the servo when that finally goes in. Pretty excited to have a drive of this and see how it actually handles and drives. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to have to do is assemble our tie rods, and for these we have our ball cups and our parts tray I was looking for. So we've got short ones and long ones. Let's cut them off. This is in a much, I suppose, stronger material, more nylon. Should have little to no slop in it too, being Tamiya quality. Okay, and we start assembling that with an Allen key. I've got my Allen driver here to speed things up a bit. We've got to put this one in and measure 5mm. So just bear with me while I grab myself. Ah, it's right here. No need for anything too fancy. Got myself a ruler here. 5mm we need. Another half a turn and we are there. And then we can go ahead and start threading our other ball cup on, our short one. And that's saying to wind it all the way up until we have a gap between the two of 1mm. We'll give that a quick measure. Spot on. Lovely. So I have to do that twice over. And there should be no need for pliers or anything with this. You could just use your grip. Don't want to scratch all your nice plastics up. Measure that again to 5mm. Give another half turn on there, I think. Quarter maybe. We'll go ahead and wind on our short one. Again, we're going for our 1mm gap. Bit too much. There we have it. So we've got 2 lengths of steering rods. Now we can go ahead and pop that one on. So the short ones go to the inner, these ones go to the outer. There should be no need for tools on this one. Might in fact have to use it. The steering linkage is very tight. Looking for my pliers. There we go. Just got my fingers in there to do that one. Nothing wrong with that. Snap, on it goes into the ball cups. And there we go. And you can see here how the steering system now is working. Ingenious little rugged system here. And looks super cool. Okay, so I have to build the rear ones on to ensure that we've got the correct wheel alignment on the rear. So I'll go ahead and build these ones exactly the same as the front ones. 5mm protrusion of the grub screw. Another half a turn. Go ahead and assemble the ball cups with a 1mm gap in between. like so. That will ensure that all 4 wheels have the correct wheel alignment. No different to your full-scale car with its tie rods and linkages to adjust its wheel alignment. Okay, 5mm protrusion. Like so. Go ahead and thread that on to a 1mm gap. There we go. Now I could go ahead and click these on the rear end. So again, we've got the short cups on the chassis, long cups on the hubs. You can see there how it's holding it nice and firm, nice and straight. It's looking good with our steering on the front. And we've got our independent suspension at the same time. Looking good, guys. Okay, let's have a look what the next part of the book is. Okay, we're putting in batteries. We won't put a battery in this one. Putting in electrics. Putting in a servo. We won't go to that one yet. We can, however, screw the motor in. So where was it that we screw the motor in? There's the motor itself. BA16. These ones right here. Okay. Screw the motor in situ. Like so. Get the motor done up nice and firm. I was just spinning the transmission over, but it feels tight. Let's have a look. Transmission feels good there. Transmission feels good there. There we go. Feels all tight, the transmission. We might have to wait till the wheel hex goes on, could be just a gear reduction. But we'll leave this till later so I can definitely get a good feel for what's going on, as that's what's best to do sometimes, is just feel your way through it. So I think that we can go ahead now
and get to putting our wheels and tyres on. So we're not going to put the servo in it. We can in fact put our wheels and tyres on. So it's going to start to look like a proper RC car very quickly. Have ourselves a rolling chassis. There we go, the tyres are not directional in any way, shape or form. There's no foam insert for these, and the car's so light anyway, so it doesn't matter as just putting it on. I don't even think that you would need to glue these on, they fit nice and snug. We'll just do one at a time. Okay, so that's our 4 tyres assembled on the wheels. Now let's have a look at getting them bolted up. So I need okay, so we need our wheel pins and we need our wheel hexes. Cut these off the sprue. These ones here. Beautiful. We've got our 2x10mm pin. We can take our body clips out of there, like the instruction asked for in assembly, which did a great job by the way of holding it all together. Go ahead and put one hex at a time. Ensure that it's properly located. Just have to get another packet of screws open. Okay, got our washers. And our wheel nuts. Or screw in this case. Beautiful. Get this one done. Going together, get it located again. Got our screw and our washer. Alright, that's half of it done. Okay, another hex on. last wheel and hex assembly to go together. Here we go. Starting to look like a proper little truck now. Everything working nice and smooth. You can see here the steering's working. Got the diff action working. Beautiful. Okay, we've got our 16 tooth pinion on. Dip to what? I just broke it. I have the technology. The pinion wasn't pushed on enough.
Okay, so we've got our 4 wheels on. Now, I can check that the transmissions are nice and smooth, front and rear. And they are. Got a beautiful action. The diffs actually feel really nice, and they'll feel better when it's running a bit. Same with the transmission. Now I can go ahead and slip the motor in and ensure that everything's working correctly. And then we have our finished assembly of our rolling chassis of our MudMad. The motor's in, gearboxes are nice and smooth. You can see here when I actuate the steering how the servo is going to sit, and it's going to pivot the arm here. It's a brilliant little setup, and it's got quite a lot of suspension for such a little truck, and it's got the wheelie bar in the back, which I'm sure is going to get a workout. So now we've got our motor in and our MudMad assembled. Join us next time as we get the body fitted, get some decals on, and get it all ready for action. I'm Brett, and thanks for watching.